Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to Interpersonal Toastmasters. My name is Jamal George. Thank you so much for joining our Toastmasters meeting. In order for this meeting to be fantastic, I kindly ask you to mute your mic unless you have a speaking role or functionary role. And please keep your cameras on so we can see you and for the speakers to feel that they have some sort of audience in front of their eyes. Now with that, please help me welcome our vivacious Toastmaster of the day, Elizabeth Titoris.
Thank you, Jamal. Well, how do you follow up being introduced as vivacious without trying to be vivacious? So that was a great introduction. I'm so glad that you all could join us here today. Looks like we have quite a few returnees and almost charter members of our club. We're still working on that. So thank you all for joining. And we do have a guest today. I would like to welcome, a special welcome to Shyamala. And can I ask you to introduce yourself, please, to the group, Shyamala?
Sure. Hi, my name is Shyamala Sister. I've been a Toastmaster since 2014 and been growing since then. I'm the current district director of District 101, and I just wanted to say hi to a lot of friends that I know outside of this club. And it's always fun to say hi to Elizabeth, Nish, Doris, Jamal, and everyone else. I'm sure I'll see you the next time and say hi that I know you also. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Shyamala. And in case you missed it, Shyamala is the district director. Okay, so in Toastmasters, you start out with clubs and club leaders. And then on top of that, then clubs are organized into areas and you have area directors. And then you move on up the line until you reach the district director where you are in charge of a lot. So we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have such a great district if it weren't for Shyamala. So thank you for all you are doing for our club, for helping us with our chartering our new club and keeping the district going. So we appreciate that. And talking
Just
about-
want to add a comment there, Elizabeth.
Yep.
There is no district without members. It is the members who gives the motivation to do better than what we are doing. And the more higher we go, the more accountability we have. So it is even more important to do the right thing every single time. And I am very happy to do and help members grow. So members are the strength for the district. Otherwise, there is no district. So very happy to see new clubs chartering. It's always fun watching this process of high energy and high enthusiasm.
Well, thank you for that. And I mentioned appreciation, and our word for today, I hate to give it away, is gratitude. And that's what this holiday is about, Thanksgiving, giving thanks, having gratitude for what you have. And it's one of my favorite holidays where you get a chance to reflect perhaps on the year, how things have been for you, and really being thankful for what you have. And times have been challenging for a lot of people this past year, pandemic, and all the ramifications of that. But it helps me, I know, and people talk about having a gratitude practice. I don't know how many of you have a practice like that, where every day, either before you go to sleep or in the morning, you kind of check off a few things that you are thankful for. And even if things aren't going so well for you, you know, I'm thankful that I was able to get out of bed today. Or I'm really thankful that I have a partner. I'm really thankful that my kids are safe, you know, whatever it is. And it can really change your whole mindset because it's easy to get down about things. So starting with gratitude. I appreciate all of you showing up here today, and we are going to have a terrific meeting. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Doris, who is going to give us our interpersonal communication tip of the day. Now, this is not a usual Toastmasters agenda topic, but it's a way we are weaving this concept of how do we improve our interpersonal communication skills into the Toastmasters meeting. So with that, I welcome Doris to give us our tip of the day.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honorary guests. With gratitude, I have this opportunity to share these tips with you. Interpersonal communication is very important because it can foster great relationship. Today, I'm going to share with you the tips that will put you to ease when talking with strangers. There are 4 levels of communications. When you are meeting with a stranger, you start with level 1 communication, which is just small talk, because we don't know that person. So you just talk about the weather, the environment, or the current event. For example, you say, oh, this is a beautiful wedding reception, isn't it? Usually it's just open question and close-end questions where people answer yes or no. And there's nothing of personal information disclosed. Once you are comfortable with that, you want to know the person better, then you get to the level 2 communication, which is fact disclosure, where you try to find out the facts about that person or disclose your fact to the person you are talking to, such as your occupation, your hobbies, still not very personal information. And then when both of you feel positively about each other, you want to know each other better, then you go into level 3 communication, which is to get the viewpoint or the opinion of that person. You can ask, what do you think of the meeting? What do you think of the government, doing certain things? That kind of personal opinion will be given to you. And when you want to know a lot more about that person, then you go to the 4th communication level, which is the personal feeling. Sometimes, then they will talk about their family or their family problem with their teenage son, something like that. It's very personal. So there are 4 levels of interpersonal communication that will allow you to talk to strangers at ease. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Doris. That's a great tip. I like those different levels, kind of easy to think about where you are in 1 through 4. Very, very helpful. Thank you. I just had a request, and I would like it if you have a role in today's meeting, if you could rename yourself. And that way we can all see what role you have. So for example, Pallavi, if you can all see her name on the screen, she has noted that she is the ah counter. And so if you have a role, if you're a timer or a speaker number 1, if you could figure out how to rename yourself, that would be awesome.
Rename it with the function in the front. So that would be cool.
Great, thank you. And now I would like to introduce our functionaries for today's meeting. First up, we have our word master, who is Jamal George.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. The word of the day is gratitude. Gratitude is a noun that means the quality of being thankful. An example usage is, the best way to deliver a message of gratitude is to speak from the heart. And I look forward to each and every one of you to use the word gratitude when you have the opportunity to speak today. And I will make note of all excellent uses of this word and how many times you have used it. Back to you.
Thank you, Jamal. I would like to next introduce our counter for today's meeting, Pallavi Kadamkar, who will explain her role today.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As an counter, I will be responsible for noting any word or sound used as a crutch by anyone who is going to speak during the meeting today. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, will, but, so, and you know. Sounds may be or I will also note when the speaker repeats a phrase such as I, or this means, this means. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Pallavi. I'm looking forward to hearing your report at the end of our meeting today. And for today's meeting, our timer will be Jamal George.
Thank you. It's very important that we give, when we give speeches, that we give speeches within the time allocated. So there is time allocated. So in case of an icebreaker, it is a 4 to 6 minute speech, where at 4 minutes, I will be showing green, at 5, yellow, and at 6, red. So let me share what the colors will look like. So green, yellow, and red. If it's a regular speech, 5 to 7 minutes, then at 5, I will show green. At 6, I will show yellow. And at 7 minutes, I will show red. Evaluators, it is 2 to 3 minutes. And table topics response is 1 to 2 minutes. Again, the same colors apply. For table topics, 1 to 2 minutes. At 1, I'll show green. 1.5, I'll show yellow. And at 2 minutes, I'll show red. Back to you.
Thank you, Jamal. Now that we're all clear on the functionaries and what their roles are, we are going to get to the speeches. We have 2 prepared speeches today. Our first speaker is Carol Singh, and James Denson will be the speech evaluator today for Carol's speech. I would like to invite Jim, sorry about that, to describe what the purpose of Carol's speech is.
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. The purpose for Carol's speech tonight, practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. The title of Carol's speech, Achieving Success Using the Subconscious Mind, and the time will be 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Jim. Sorry. It's on the agenda. And with that, I would like to invite Carol to give her speech, Achieving Success Using the Subconscious Mind.
Good evening, Madam President and fellow Toastmasters. Have you ever thought of the connections between the mind and the brain? Are they the same? These 2 terms are often used interchangeably. The brain is considered physical and the mind is mental. In our brain, we have the conscious and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind sees with our eyes and perceives the world, whereas the subconscious mind has no connections with the outside world. But when the 2 minds work together, you will have will and power. Therefore, you will have willpower, and the subconscious mind is your power bank. By the way, can you achieve success using your subconscious mind? Yes, definitely yes. The subconscious mind is a little genie within us. It will only listen to you when you say, oh, I'm no good, I'm bad, I'm stupid. Then little genie will say, oh yeah, you are an idiot. But when you say, I'm good, I will not give up, I will succeed. Your genie will say, yes, master, you are great, let's do it. You can look up in the internet for this book called The Genie Within by Harry Carpenter, not Harry Potter, right? Harry Carpenter. How to be unconsciously competent? Here is a simple formula that I learned in my college days in psychology class. Let me share with you. It's called the RACE formula. R-A-C-E. RACE for relentless and resilient. A for awareness. C for clear your interference. And E for emotions. Let me share with you my story. I was born with a genetic defect. I was a thalassemia minor, which means that my body does not produce healthy, rounded red blood cells. Life was miserable. I couldn't do any sports and outdoor activities in the sun. After my psychology class, I decided to change my fate. I was resilient and relentless to change my life. I struggled for years with fainting spells and palpitations when exercising. In year 2000, I learned to play golf. It was good for me as I could walk, exercise, and be in the sun. Today, I am an active golfer. That was my RACE formula for being resilient and relentless. Now we come to the next word, that is awareness. Just like the Formula One car driver who knows his car inside out and the racing circuit too. Be aware of your directions and goals, which is your power of passion and perseverance. Self-awareness is the key to self-actualization. Now we come to C. C for clearance. Here I have an analogy. You are the healthy plant in the center, but you are crowded and surrounded by weeds, growing and producing more seeds. These are your negative thoughts, hatred, jealousies, and lack of confidence. You need an antidote. And that is, what do you think, audience? Well, definitely, it is the weed killer. Clear your garbage. In our Toastmasters journey, we go through different paths and projects. This helps us to improve ourselves and become confident. Speak up. And improve ourselves by speaking well. Feed our mind with positive thoughts. Practice, practice, and practice. There's no shortcut. The little genie, our subconscious mind, does not see the outside world. Remember? Only you can strengthen your own genie within you. So little genie, the subconscious mind, will take over and you just relax and towards success. The last alphabet is the RACE formula is emotions. Communications with your subconscious mind is your emotions. Emotion is power. Negative thoughts will lead to negative emotions. That will lead
to fear of losing, fear of failure, and fear of incompetence. Therefore, learn to speak positively at all times. Whether something bad has already arrived, still think of the positive way to get out of it. Right now, let's recap the RACE formula. R is for relentless and resilient. Work on it. A, awareness, that is self-awareness, knowing thyself well. C, clear your mind of negative thoughts. E, for emotions. Control your emotions, or your emotions will control you. Agree? Toastmasters journey is our daily routine, our daily route. We learn, relearn, refresh, and can see the big difference in ourselves. We learn self-awareness. We learn to be better, improve ourselves in Toastmasters. Soon, you will be an unconscious, competent communicator and leader. Hope this message is good for you, and let's do it. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Carol, for that inspiring speech. Wow. Harnessing the power of your subconscious mind, this genie within. You gave us so many things to think about. Talking the way that we talk to ourselves in that subconscious way really matters. And let's talk positively. I love it. I would like to give everyone a minute to provide some feedback for Carol about her speech. Please privately message her in the chat. And if I could get a minute on the timer, let me know when the time a minute has passed. That would be great. Thank you, Jamal.
Time's up.
Thank you, Jamal. Our second speaker today will be Nisha Lojanan. I don't know if I got that right. There's a lot of syllables in there. Nish will be giving a speech for the first time in our club today. And his evaluator will be Jaydeep Rotathor. And Jaydeep, could you please describe the purpose of Nisha's speech?
Thank you, Toastmaster. So yes, I will be evaluating Nisha today. His pathway is Visionary Communication Level 3. His project is Connect with Storytelling. His speech time will be 5 to 7 minutes long. And his purpose will be to practice using a story within a speech, or giving a speech that is a story. I'm just as excited as everyone to hear about Nisha's small, sweet moment. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jaydeep. And I would like to welcome Nish with your speech, Small Sweet Moment.
In that ancient time when we all could travel, remember December of 2019, I decided to go visit my parents back in Sri Lanka. Have you guys been on a journey where everything went wrong? Well, Toastmaster, friends. It all started when the flight captain said, flight will be slightly delayed by 20 minutes. 2 hours later, we finally took off. As I ready to go to bed, the baby behind me practiced his vocal variety for the entire flight. Finally, we landed. Guess what didn't? My luggage. After another 2 hours, I got into the taxi, was ready to fall asleep. The talkative taxi driver drove me through a rush hour traffic of about another 2.5 hours. As I got home, ready for my bed, my dad flung the door open, gave me a bag and said, come, come, come. I have something special for you. He took me to a small kitchen. Here I was hoping, please be a glass of whiskey. He pointed at something and said, look what I got you. As I looked down, it was a small cup of chocolate ice cream, right next to his glass of whiskey. I'm thinking, can we switch? As I sat down, he said, tell me all about your journey. As I took a scoop, I told myself, never again am I coming back to Sri Lanka. Only Skype. As I took the ice cream scoop, it took me back. Have you ever had a food which brought back childhood memories? Well, this took me back to when I was 5 years old. We were living back in north of Sri Lanka. It was a complete war-torn mess. There was a civil war going on. My mom and dad made a bold decision. My mom came to me and said, son, we're leaving everything behind. We are going to live with your aunt in Colombo. I looked up and asked, you're taking me, right? She smiled. So then I asked, how about our cow? Are we taking that with us? She said, cow, your auntie is back in Colombo. My dad gave her the look and said, son, we are going to leave everything behind, just taking some clothes, food, and the watch your grandpa gave me. Next day, we started on our journey. We walked through the rainforest. Suddenly, I heard, bang, 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 bang! It was gunshots everywhere. My mom grabbed me to the ground. My dad took his white shirt off and yelled, there's civilians, don't shoot. Gunshots stopped. We slowly crawled through the rainforest. We finally got on a train headed towards Colombo. For the entire journey, I was shivering, holding tightly my mom's arm. Now, what I didn't know, someone had stolen my dad's wallet in that journey. As we got out in the Colombo station, I saw an ice cream shop. I pointed at him and said, Daddy, ice cream? He said, that ice cream is not so good. We'll get something later. I decided to show him my vocal variety. So he said, okay. Let me get some ice cream. He came back with a small cup of chocolate ice cream. As we took a scoop and shared that ice cream, I started to smile. That night, I overheard my dad talking to my aunt. She said, that little brat, to buy him ice cream, you sold our dad's precious watch? My dad said, it's an uncertain time. We survived a dangerous journey. For at least a moment, that ice cream put a smile in his face. These small, sweet moments make life worth living. As I came back to the kitchen, scraping the last scoop of that ice cream, all the lost luggage, lack of sleep, all the annoyances of the flight melted away. And my dad looked at me and said, "Son, it's always good to have you home." That moment told myself I would always come back to Sri Lanka to visit my parents. In these uncertain times, an invisible enemy is stealing our hope every single day. The small, sweet moments we create for the ones we love can make life worth living. What small, sweet moments will you create this Thanksgiving? Toastmaster.
Thank you, Nish. Oh, what a great story and an inspiring speech. I know I'm thinking about what I can do for my family for this Thanksgiving to make it special. If I could have a minute on the clock, Jamal, and if everyone could please send some feedback to Nish via the chat, a private chat to Nish with some feedback, I'm sure he would appreciate it.
Time.
Thank you, Jamal. Now that we've heard our prepared speeches, it's time for table topics. Today, Swati is going to lead us in the table topics where we'll get to practice our impromptu speaking. Are you ready?
Thank you, Elizabeth. So I would first say the question first, and anyone who wishes to talk can go ahead. Otherwise, if no one shows up, I'll pick a name. Is that fine? Okay. So can you share with us about how you celebrate Thanksgiving? If you do not celebrate Thanksgiving, you can share other similar festivals you celebrate. Jim, do you want to answer this question?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Generally, I spend Thanksgiving either with family or with friends. This particular year, I'm going to be spending it with some friends, but my family is never far behind from my heart and my thoughts. So I'll definitely be contacting them too. But normally it's just a simple gathering with friends. We get together, we talk, we catch up, we eat, we watch whatever football there is on, what have you. Nothing that far out of the ordinary, but I always treasure those moments because it's usually a year between the time I get to see them. So that makes it more precious. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. So the next question is, what's your most favorite and least favorite Thanksgiving food? Shyamala, do you want to answer that question?
Sure, but Jamal raised her hand, so let's go.
Oh,
for
is
the
it okay?
chance.
I didn't see that. I'm
No
sorry.
worries.
Sorry,
I'll
Jim.
go for the next one. No worries.
Yeah.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. What's my most favorite food for Thanksgiving? Oh, I love mashed potato and macaroni and cheese. And put some gravy also. Even onion crisps as well. Oh, I would just take everything. I don't have, okay, what's my least favorite? Maybe soggy bean casserole. Maybe that is my least favorite, but Thanksgiving, I just love all the food. When it comes to turkey, I'm kind of like, it depends. If there is stuffing, then, I would take the turkey as well as with the gravy. But if turkey is too dried up, then I might just pass on the turkey. I will go for ham. But I just love Thanksgiving meal because there's so much that I can take. Now, it surprises me that I can go for first helping, second helping, and I still have room for pumpkin pie, apple pie, you name it, all the pies that are out there, I still have room for it. But it's only after that, I'm just good for nothing. I can just watch a movie and do nothing after that. So I guess it takes, like, for a brain, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to realize you're full. But since if you eat really fast, you talk and eat so fast, you won't even realize until you're like, it's too late. But I really like Thanksgiving so much because of the amount. It's just so much joy, a lot of people, potluck, a lot of talking. You're seeing people you haven't seen before. And it's just a lot of joy. Thank you so much for this question.
Thank you, Jamal. It was nice to hear about all the food you love and how you enjoy so much about foods. And the next question is, what's your favorite way of giving back and helping others?
I think I already signed up before, so maybe I should have taken the previous question now. What is the way
to give back to the society and help others?
For me, to give back to society, first I have to believe the cause, be it Toastmasters or an organization like Thorn. It has to resonate with my ideals, my way of thinking, and then giving comes very naturally because I feel what they are trying to do, then it becomes easy. The gratitude comes only when you have received that from someone else. It can be anything. For example, like, because we are all Toastmasters, we can talk about Toastmasters. One of my colleagues invited me to a Toastmasters meeting. And till date, I still remember how she took me to a meeting. And more than that, I remember the Toastmaster of the day, that day, almost 7 years ago. I went into the meeting. I was trying to answer a table topics question, which was super simple. I don't remember the question. I don't remember my answer. I just remember that I was frozen. Most importantly, I remember his clapping, his smile. That is all I remember till date. That is what all of us have to give back to new guests when they come and visit us. That is the mark that you need to do. And I learned from a great Toastmaster in the past. So for me, giving back comes very naturally because that is what I received. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamala. That was a great answer. And you also used the word of the day. That's great. And the next question would be, assuming you are the boss of the company and you want your employees to work for the Thanksgiving, how would you persuade them to work? Does anyone have interesting ideas to pursue their employees? Doris, do you want to go?
Would you please repeat the question?
Okay, so assume you are the boss in the company and you have to convince your employees to work during the Thanksgiving weekend. How would you persuade them?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I have to act as a cruel boss to have my employees working for the Thanksgiving week. And I have to assure them that this is a very, very, very important project that we have to complete before during this time. But I would reward them afterwards. No, when they come to work that day, I first, prepared a great meal for them so that they will be at least have a good meal and will not be working hungry. And then when the project is finished, then I would reward them with some bonus payoff for the check, and so that they will be compensated for their time and effort and the dedication to help the company to finish the project. And I just have to assure them that, Thanksgiving should be in our heart, and I will be always remember them with gratitude, how they dedicate their efforts to the company. And I will always, always reward them with something better, maybe some gift around holiday time, and then make sure that they will be happy for trading off their work time with some achievement that they have accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you, Doris. That was really nice answer. I would definitely work over the weekend as well, hearing all those nice things you're offering. Thank you. With this, I would like to end the table topic session. Yeah. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Swati. That was a great job with the table topics. I think that was your first time
Yes.
giving the table topics. So wonderful first timer.
Thank you.
Some great thoughtful questions, and I heard some fun answers. And I wouldn't have wanted to answer Doris's question, but you did a good job, Doris. Next in our meeting, we have the very important section, which is the evaluation section. And this is something that Toastmasters really does right. It's a place, Toastmasters gives you a place to practice and then get feedback about what you did really well and where you can improve. So with that, I would like to call on Jim, who will be giving the evaluation for Carol's speech.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Carolyn Sang spoke about achieving success using the subconscious mind. A fascinating topic, and it was made more so by the way you opened with your question regarding the relationship between the brain and the mind. And you said that most people think of them or use them interchangeably. And I'm in that category too, just like everyone else, I suppose, in that regard. And while it's a fascinating topic, it also is a very difficult topic to kind of relate to people in a relatable way. But I think you overcame that problem by connecting it to yourself you indicated to us that in college you took a psychology class where you learned the race formula, and you talked about a book called The Genie Within by Harry Carpenter. It was from that personal experience that you really established a connection with your listeners. And the raceful, what I also appreciated about you talking about the race formula is that you mentioned what each element of the acronym is, the R, the A, the C, and the E, and you did it more than once. That was a good thing so that it could be reinforced for us. Finally, you also had mentioned how using the race formula, resilience, awareness or self-awareness, the clearance of negative thoughts and emotions, you used all those elements to help you overcome an impairment that you sustained early in your life. And through learning golf, you were able to overcome some of the physical limitations that you had. And I take it that golf also kind of helped you to reinforce the mental aspects of the race formula as well. You did a great job overall, giving us a very accessible way to think about the genie within and the subconscious mind. A suggestion for improvement, there's not much I have in that regard, but there is one thing. It's difficult in a virtual setting to keep your eyes directly focused on the camera. It is so difficult to do that. I understand. If you do that, however, we as an audience have a better idea that you're looking directly at us. And there's less of a feeling that you're looking away and relying on your notes a little too much. That's the only thing that I would say. Overall, tremendous speech, and I really hope you give it again because it's so fascinating and with repeated tellings, it'll get easier and easier to convey. Thank you very much for a great speech.
Thank you, Jim, for that very thoughtful speech evaluation with some helpful tips. We can all benefit. So the evaluation is not just for Carol, in case you're wondering. I too am trying to focus on the camera so that I can be talking to each of you, but it is hard. Thank you. Next, I would like to call on JD, who will be giving the evaluation for Nisha's speech.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster. Nish, my small sweet moment. We were excited to hear about it, and I really do think that you delivered. I really enjoyed your vocal variety. I really liked that you went from excitement to the ice cream to the fear when you're talking about the traumatic moments, the gunshots and everything. I feel like that really helped the audience understand what you were feeling inside. Because oftentimes you can narrate, but really knowing how you feel and getting that across, it can be challenging, but I think you really did a fantastic job with that. I also think you used your hand gestures very well, especially kind of when you're kind of showing like this, when you're afraid or when you're excited. So I really do think you did a fantastic job of that. And again, that kind of ties into expressing your emotions. So I think that all really helped kind of the way you felt and helped you express, even when it was a sweet moment, the ice cream. It really helped the audience see that. I would say if you really want to challenge yourself, maybe towards the end of your speech, focus a little more about how you felt. So we know that you feel gratitude for the ice cream, the small sweet moments. So focus more on the positive emotions and maybe get a little more of that across. So overall, fantastic speech, really enjoyed it and look forward to hearing more of your speeches.
Thank you, JD. That was a great evaluation as well. I think you're getting the hang of it. Next, I would like to call on our functionaries to give their reports. First up, we'll hear from Jamal, who was our word master for today.
Yeah, the word grateful, gratitude. Gratitude is, I'm grateful that that word we got was, the word gratitude just reminds me about how grateful we are. So I see how, we can use it interchangeably. So people who have used the word Elizabeth, Doris, Carol, and there were a couple more who used it, but I did not write it down, but all those who used it, kudos to you, and back to you.
Thank you, Jamal. I have lots of gratitude for all of our role takers today who made this meeting happen. Next up, I will call on our awe counter, Pallavi, to let us know how we did with our ahs and ums.
Thank you, Toastmaster. There were no ahs and ums today. It was a great meeting. Yeah, not a single one.
That must be the first time ever
Yeah.
in our meetings. That's
Actually.
fantastic. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. And I know you are probably listening very closely. Thank you for that report. We all can be very, very proud today.
Yes.
And then finally, I would like to call on Jamal again to give the timer report.
Yeah, thank you. Carol took 7 minutes, 5 seconds. Nish took 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And then for table topics, Jim took 44 seconds, Jamal 2 minutes, Shamla 1 minute 35, Doris 2 minutes 16. And when it comes to evaluation, Jim took 3 minutes 50 and Jaydeep took 1 minute 12. Back to you.
Thank you, Jamal. I appreciate everyone's efforts today to make this such a successful meeting. Would offer this time for anyone who has any feedback about today's meeting. If you are a guest and you would like to say a few words, we would appreciate hearing how the meeting went from your perspective. Otherwise, anyone free to jump in.
Shamla, we are looking at you. How was your experience today?
Oh, okay. It was good. It's always fun to listen to Nish. I think I probably heard him speak so many times. And Elizabeth, you are a fantastic Toastmaster. The way you ran the whole meeting was just spot on. So very well done. It's always good to see people that I know, like I said before, but it's a very refreshing thing to see how Jaydeep, Swati, and Pallavi, who are new to Toastmasters, stepped up and did this as if they are natural. So very well done. And Jim, welcome back to our district, and please visit us more often. And Doris, as always, it's fun listening to you. And Jamal, you are a fantastic host. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Shamala. Well, we're about a minute until 7. So I know I'm going to have to run in a couple of minutes, but if I would like to turn it over to Jamal, if you have a few words to say.
Yeah, thank you so much. This meeting is really great and I really enjoy every time I come. I learn something new, and as a team together, we are growing and this is amazing. So we'll be chartering soon. If you really like this meeting, please invite more friends to come and join. And each and every one of our membership contribution, it just adds up. And, we are gaining a lot from this experience. And we should continue to do more. With that, I'm going to say that our next meeting is going to be on December 2nd. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you. Happy Thanksgiving, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Right. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Shamla, for coming. That was awesome. Thank you.